Okay, so this is going to be part 2, finishing my story. I don't want to run over 10 minutes, even though I have the feature, I guess I can do that, but they take so long to upload. So anyways, this is part 2. So like I said, it's around 2 p.m., and I decided I wanted to get in a hot tub jacuzzi deal. So Dustin helps me in there, and I still have the IV hooked up to my arm that's running Pitocin, and she wanted to get the waterproof monitors to put on my belly to monitor my contractions, but I guess she went to find them, and I was too impatient to wait, so I just got in a hot tub anyway, which I guess you couldn't find them anyway that were charged. So whatever, so I got in there, and I was in there for about a half hour, and while I was in there, Dustin's there at my side, and the nurse is there, and I'm just like, can you make this water hotter? It's not hot, I need hot water. And the lady would put her hand in there, and she would, like, jerk back, and she's just like, I don't understand how you're not burning yourself. And even Dustin told me later, he's like, that water was scalding hot. And I'm like, it didn't feel hot. Like, I just wanted it hotter, because when you have an internal pain like that, hot water feels good. And I was just like, no, it's not hot. Like, I need it hotter. And I guess it was as hot as it could go. So I'm sitting there, and it just got so intense that I caved, and I'm like, you know what? I'm like, I think I need the epidural. Like, I don't know if I can do it, because last time she had checked me, I was at 2.5, 3 centimeters, and I'd already been in 13 hours of labor, and the Pitocin is so strong, so much stronger than regular contractions. Because with my son, I didn't have Pitocin, and the contractions, they sucked, and I did an all-natural birth with him, but the Pitocin just makes it so much stronger. And I was like, I'm only at 3, I won't make it. Like, I caved. I'm like, just give me the epidural. So, Dustin's like, are you sure? I'm like, yeah. He's like, okay. So he helps me get out of the tub, and I go to the bed, and I'm like, call her in here. So they called midwife in here. I'm like, I want the epidural. She's like, okay. She's like, well, if you want the epidural, that's fine. She's like, I have to check you before we administer it, for whatever reason. And so they call in the anesthesiologist, they have me sign the paper, and my midwife, goes to check me, and, when they check you, you can feel them checking you. In fact, most of the time when you get checked at your OB appointments, it's not a pleasant feeling. She goes to check me, and I'm not even kidding, I couldn't even feel that she was checking me. And she's like, you're at 8 centimeters. So I'm like, really, and I'm just in here like, she's like, just so you know, she's like, when we do, and like I said, my contractions were not even a minute apart. Like, they're on top of each other. It was, I'm honestly shocked they didn't take me off the Pitocin at that point. And she's like, they're telling me, when we do this, it takes about 15 minutes to administer it, and you cannot move, you can't jerk or anything. And I'm sitting here like, I don't know if I can do that. Like, I was scared. Huh? Anyways, and so I'm just I'm like, I don't know if I want to do it now. So I'm debating back and forth for about 15 minutes. And I'm sitting here, I'm talking to Dustin, I'm talking to the midwife. I'm like, should I do it? Should I do it? Should I not do it? Like, I was so indecisive, because that was not a part of my plan at all. And I knew I was strong enough to do it, but it's just at that point and moment, you just want the pain to go away. And she's like, okay, well, like she said, it's going to take about 15 minutes to administer it, and then it's going to take about another 20 minutes before it kicks in. She's like, honestly, I think that you will have a baby before it even kicks in. Stop. And so I was just like, last minute, I was like, you know what, forget it. I don't want it. Like, I don't even want it. Like, I'm not going to get it, and it'd be a complete waste. And, like I said, to get into my birth plan anyway, I came this far, I'm an 8, I think I can just hold it out and do it. And, a few more minutes after that, I was just like I felt the urge to push, which it's kind of more like a feeling like you have to poop, but I felt the urge to push, and I was like, I have to push, and she's just like, okay, and she's just all calm and relaxed, and she sits on the end of the bed, and she puts, they put my feet up, and, Dustin has one leg, and, my stepmom has the other leg, and I'm just sitting there, like, trying to push, and she's like, okay, you're doing a good job, and I'm just like, oh, this is going to take so long to do, like, I don't feel like anything's happening, And I even asked her, and then I guess at one point she even asked me, she's like, did you go pee when you got out of the tub before you came and lay down? And I was like, yeah, I did. And honestly, at that point, I don't remember if I did. I'm pretty sure I didn't. Dustin said I didn't. And so I started to pee a little bit, and she's like, oh, I thought you said you peed. And I'm just like, yeah, you know. And then, like, at every push I was peeing. So then the nurse is like, okay, we're gonna do a catheter. And I'm just like, no. Like, I didn't want a catheter at all. And that's another thing I never had done. And most people that get catheters during labor have already had epidural. That was a horrendous feeling, having a catheter put in. And they put it in, and I was still peeing. Oh, it was ridiculous. I was just glad I didn't poop. But anyways, so let's see. At that point, I'm pushing, and she's having me hold my legs back. And I think it took, because I started pushing around 3 p.m. And I think it took maybe 4 most contractions with 3 good pushes each. Towards the last one, I guess when she was crowning, I definitely felt the ring of fire, like they like to call it. That horrible burning, and I honestly, I felt like I was ripping in half. It was ridiculous. And I kept asking her, I'm like, how much longer do you think I have? Like, how many more pushes? Like, I wanted a precise number. Like, I just wanted it to be over with. And they're like, oh, look, she has a bunch of hair. You want to feel her hair? And they let me feel her head. And at 3:15 p.m. on July 17th, she was finally born, which would make 14 hours of labor, which compared to my son, who I was in labor for 46 hours, this was a lot easier when it comes to that. And they go to weigh her.
I want to give you a hug.
They go to weigh her, and, you know, I knew she was going to be pretty big. I'm thinking like 8.5 at least. Colton was 8.5. And they say 9.3, and I'm like, my mouth just dropped. I'm like, you're kidding. There's no way that a pound baby just came out of me. So she was 9'3", 20 inches long.
Wow, I was telling you something.
20 inches long, and her head was 14 inches around. And her, let's see, her first feeding ended up being at 4, so 45 minutes after she was born, which I'm not sure why they had to take so long. But they were doing all their tests and giving her her vitamin K shot and her feet prints and doing all that. But all in all, it was, you know, the contractions obviously sucked, but I was able to stick to my birth plan, and I did not have epidural, I did not have any medication, and did it completely natural for the second time. So I am very proud of myself. And basically after that, they cleaned me up, and I didn't tear or rip or anything like that. She said I had a minor, like, abrasion, like a little scratch cut kind of deal. It actually hurt more. The fact of the catheter hurt more, because when I would pee after, it kind of burned. But after that, they took us to our recovery room, and we were there, and we were there the rest of the evening, the night. The next day, we ended up being discharged at 7 p.m. on the next day, so they had to keep us a full 24 hours to monitor and make sure blood work came back okay. So other than that, it was a perfect labor and delivery. Honestly, it wasn't as bad at all, and it was so much worth it. And as you guys know, like, I was watching everybody else have their babies, and I'm pretty sure officially like one of the last few that are on my watch list, and I am just so happy she is here. So yeah, that's pretty much it, and I'll try to throw a few clips in here for you. So
Mommy, why did you
There
do
she is. She's sleeping so sound.